Kirti. Yeah, just wanted to know that.
Yes.
Yeah. So
If you have started the recording, you can start.
yeah, Vignesh. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks everyone for joining this Microsoft Teams Dev Learning Series from Microsoft 365 and Power Platform User Group. Uh, so thank you for joining and investing your time to learn and share new things. I'm very happy to see this continuous support from the community, and that is also encouraging us to organize such webinars which can help us to grow and build a strong community here. So as you know that we are about to complete this Microsoft Teams Dev Learning Series, and I hope you all enjoyed all the sessions so far. So today I am coming with the second part of this your team's development. So I have started this webinar series with the first one, how to use the your teams human generator, and now I'll explain in this session. I will explain how to uh, create the bot using human generator for Microsoft Teams. So there are a number of different ways to create or develop bots available. If you are a developer, you can create the SPFX web part, and you can also create a kind of use the Node.js and create some kind of bots. And apart from this, your teams, the human generator, providing us the privileges that can help us to create a common solution which can work everywhere. So today I'm going to talk about a few things like a kind of brief introduction for the new attendees who are going to join first time for this series. Just wanted to brief you about like why we are going to use Microsoft Teams. So before I jump into that, I just wanted to highlight few points that this webinar is being recorded, and all the attendees will receive the recording as well as the slide deck after this webinar via email. And all participants as of now are muted, but I can unmute you if we want to discuss anything after this session. And if you have any questions, then please drop your question in the question and answer section. Then I will try to reply as soon as early. And anyone can join, but silently. So before I jump into the session, that I just want to brief you about myself. That my name is Kirti, and I'm Microsoft MVP, MCT, and SharePoint, working as a SharePoint architect, Microsoft 365 consultant. And I have been working with SharePoint since year 2007. So this is more than a decade, like 14 plus years now. And I have worked on all the flavors of the SharePoint, starting from WSS 2000, 2003 to Office 365 and Microsoft 365 now. But by trade, I would like to call myself as a SharePoint consultant or developer, because I would like to share and have to implement something new which helps to community, like whatever the new feature rolled out by the Microsoft. I would like to have my hands on that. And I have been speaking in local and some of the international community events and conferences. So I'm very passionate to share my knowledge in all possible ways, whether it's a local community event, workshop, or any kind of conferences. And I'm also evangelize SharePoint on my blog as well, and also involved in some kind of ebooks writing and providing SharePoint, Office 365, and Azure training to the corporate people. And along with that, I am an organizer of Microsoft 365 Ahmedabad user group. And under this group's umbrella, we are organizing such events like Microsoft 365 Global Development Bootcamp, Developer Bootcamp, Global Power Platform Bootcamp, SharePoint Saturdays, and some of the workshops for the local community people. And as an ambassador of the AOS community, I'm very passionate to grow and build a strong local community in SharePoint, Office 365, and Azure. And if you would like to get hold of me, then you can connect with me on social media platforms. So these are my social media handlers, and we can be in touch with any of the link. So today I'm as you know that most of the people knows that and understand that from this series point of view, the usage and the adoption of Teams is increasing day by day, and most of the organizations are looking for a Microsoft Teams extended solutions, right? And along with that, the capabilities for better collaborations as well. So to develop certain solutions and make it easy to use and available as a centralized solution for the organization, the human generator comes into picture, and we are going to use that. So today I'm going to discuss about why your teams why we need your teams, the human generator, and what are the prerequisites to like set up a development environment as a developer, and how to use it, like where there are different sets of commands available. If you consider a development of the client side web part using SPFX, then there are different commands available for us. So for that, the same way for this your teams generator, we have to follow some commands as well. And after that, I will showcase the demo that how to create a simple bot using this Teams in the combination of Azure portal bot channel services. So why your teams? So we can build Teams applications using SharePoint framework. As you know that in SPFX web part, we have the capabilities to set the properties, and you can have that web part as a tabs in your Microsoft Teams. But that is only thing we can do with the SPFX. You cannot create any kind of bots or other things. You can only develop client-side tabs. But if you use human generator, then we can build a lot of other things as well. So especially if you have those kind of business processes that might require server-side compilation, or it could render and something you want to hide your business logic, then you can build a server-side as well as the client-side tabs using your teams. For example, SharePoint Online Provider hosted web part, and that's the one example. And along with that, in the Teams application, we have bots, connectors, outgoing webhooks, and a lot of other things that can be implemented using this your Teams. So that is the power of this. It combines all those into its seamless application. So the generator Teams human generator that will help us to scaffolds Microsoft Teams apps project based on TypeScript, Node.js, and React with the support of Microsoft Teams tab, and that help us to like including support for configuring tabs and SharePoint web parts for SharePoint web parts of full page applications, the SPA, and that also includes support for single sign-on tabs. So I will also try to demo one of the sample for how to use the single sign-on tabs in Microsoft Teams if time permits. And then we have the Microsoft Bot Framework bots. So that is based on Bot Framework 4.0, and that supports for calling whether it's audio or video. And then we have the Microsoft Teams message extensions and actions. So that will help us to configure multiple options using adaptive cars, task modules, static parameters, and that also supports for configuration and settings as well. And then we have the Microsoft Teams and Outlook connectors, so you can use that to implement that. And then we can create the Microsoft Teams outgoing webhooks. So this is the basic structure that we should understand if you are planning to use the your teams. And as a developer, we should understand that there are few prerequisites that needs to be installed in the development system just to set up an environment. So we have to install 3 packages using NuGet package manager, that is Yo, Gulp CLI, and TypeScript as a global level. And then you can install the generator using npm install generator dash teams dash dash global. And then if you want to have the latest and greatest feature of this Yeoman generator, then you can just add the @ preview, and you will have all the updated features available for your solution. So this is all about a basic introduction, what is teams and what are the options that we can have as a developer to implement that, and what are the prerequisites to create this. So now let me jump into the demo first, then uh, I'll explain that how to create the bot. I'm just opening. So here we cover 2 parts. The first part is the Azure portal. So in Azure portal, you should have a subscription, Azure portal subscription with you. Either it's a free or paid, whatever it is, but you should have that subscription available with you. So now once you go log into this portal.azure.com, and then just go to this resources, create a resource, and just search for this bot channel registration. And once on the screen, just click on the create button, and it will allow us to input some of the information. So bot handle is a name for this my bot. So let's say my bot. Yeah, and you have to select your subscription. So whatever the subscription you have, you can select from this drop down. And resource group, if you don't have the existing resource group, you can also create from here, clicking on create new, but I already have created, so I'll just select that bot framework. And then you can select the nearest location as per your development. And from pricing tier, I just want to go with the free one, so I'll select the F0. And yes, messaging endpoint is a kind of a temporary URL, so I can give you like this, but later on we can change that. So as of now, I'm just passing this URL, and make sure you have the messages as a last text. Yeah. So I'll let you know that where and when we change this messaging endpoint. And for this application, for this bot, we are not going to use this application inside, so I'm just switching to off. And this Microsoft App ID and password, we just want to create automatic, we don't want to create manual. So after this, you can just click on the create, and it will validate all the information and create your bot channel registration. So once that is done, then we have this you can just go to that resources, and we'll copy the application ID from the settings. So let's go to this, go to resource, then go to settings, and just copy this Microsoft App ID. So I'm just copying this and saving somewhere. So just saving here. So later on, we will use this when we are creating the project. So now I'm just going to create my solution. So just open the Node.js as an administrator, and go to your folder directory where just creating the bot one folder, and under that I'll create my solution. So I'm just typing this and just yo teams. So here it will also ask you a few of the questions that we need to fill out. So this is what is your solution name. So your solution name could be anything. So for this example, I'm just going with the default one, or both samples. Then yeah, we'll go with the current folder. Then what is your Microsoft Teams project name? I'll just select sport sample. Company name, this the company name is the default name using which you are logged in. So I'll go with that only. You can change it if you want, and we will go with the version 1.6. If you want to change, you just use the up and down arrow and you can change whatever the version you want to use. So for now I will go with the 1.6. Then we will not use this Microsoft partner ID, so let's keep it and leave it blank. And now here we have the number of options. As earlier I explained that there are number of options available if we create this, if we use the UTeams and uh, UTeams generator, and that will allow us to use any options from this. So for this demo, we'll go with this only bot. So you just use the down arrow and use the space bar to select whatever the component you want to create, and then press enter. And this is the URL that I have added into this endpoint messaging. So later on we will change this URL. So as of now I'll just go with this default one. Then I do not want to use this load indicator, so we'll go with the no. I do not want to use the test framework. So here the best part is, if you want is something kind of basic unit testing in your application, then it allows us to have some kind of frame in like setup for with the test framework. So if you want to go with that, you can just have it as a yes, but for now I'll go with the no. Then we will not go with the application insights as well, so no. Then here you have two options, that if you want to uh, already use the already existing and running bot, so you can just select that. But for now, for this demo, I'll just go with this new. Then the name of the bot, so make sure that you can have a proper name for the bot. So I'll go with the default one. And here we can also pass this copy of this application ID we just copied from this Azure portal. So let me copy this and I'm just pasting here. And do we want to add static web part, static bot? Yes, static. So about my bot, I'm just giving a name, static name, and no for the upload. So it will try to scaffold the solution and allow me to uh, open the my code structure in the Visual Studio Code. So meanwhile, I just forgot one thing, that here we can also check this channel as well. So we have this and we just need to, let's see how it goes. This, it will take some time just to scaffold the solution and create the project structure for us. Yeah, so I think it is created. So now I'm just opening this solution using code space dot, and it will open my Visual Studio Solutions. So in the first session of this MS Teams learning webinar series, I have explained that about a few things about the project structure. So I'm not going to explain again on that, but you can see this readme.md, and readme with your both name MD file is most important if you want to go with like how the structure will be available and how you can set up your bots development, right? So this is that. Now I'm just going to set up this channel. So come back to the Azure portal and click on the channels and select Microsoft Teams and select Microsoft Teams commercial, most common, and save it. Accept the terms of services and click on agree. So we are good to go now with this. So now we have set up everything with this uh, Azure portal as well as this the solution. We have scaffolding. We have scaffolded the solution as well. So now it is time to just build the solution using out of the box whatever the code we have. So the code will be available in the SRC folder. Then yeah. So this is the code file, your bot name.ts under this app folder. So from here you can change whatever the logic you want to change as per your requirement. But now I'm just using the default one, and I want to just build this. And the main thing is if you look at this environment variable environment folder, so we have passed that Microsoft app ID when we are just creating the solution. So you can see that ID is with us now, right? So now we need to get this password of this ID, right? So for that we again need to go to that Azure portal and create the secret key, and we have to paste over here so we can have the key and value pair available for us for this Microsoft bots. So let's go to that Azure portal and go to the settings, and we have this application app ID. So we just copied that. Now click on the manage, and from this you just click on the client certificate. We are go with the new client certificate. What you can give it any name, my port 01, and add it. Once it's done, you just copy this my bot one and come back to Visual Studio and paste it here. So we are good to go now. We have used that application ID and application password for this bot. So now we can use this gulp build command just to build the solution and see if we have any error. Once it is done, now the question is my solution is built. Now how do I test it? How do I host it somewhere, right? So for the SPFX web part, we have the gulp, so we can use the local workbench and identify or test the web part, the client side web part. But here we have that capability using this kind of ngrok. So this that will allow us to have a kind of temporary URL which can be used for testing this bot whether that works fine or not. So for that we just need to use this gulp ngrok dash serve, and it will create a temporary URL for us which can be used as an endpoint for to test this bot. So I'm just pasting it, and here it will create a temporary URL for us, and we will use that, and we'll open this application into the the browser, and then from browser it will allow us to open into this. Okay, I think my workbench is continuous somewhere else. So oops. So why we are using Hangrok is because there is no need to like open the VPN and tunneling for your solution. Okay, so let me put this. So ngrok basically allow us to open this temporary URL for us, and based on that we can test the application, the bot, in browser as well as the Microsoft Teams. So once it is done, we can use this if this will not work, I'll show you that how the next step would be. Now we are about to like, okay, so let's say for example it creates a URL for us. This is the URL, right? Ngrok. Now I just need to use this in my local workbench, or uh, yeah, local workbench with the port number 3007. So we have the port number as well here somewhere, and then we can test our application how it works in the browser, and then we can check, add that into the Microsoft Teams. So now we can use this host name URL into your Azure portal. Go to the settings, go to the settings, and we have this here. So just replace this my Teams port with your whatever the URL we have from that ngrok serve, and just save it. Once we are done with this saving, and then we can check, we can test this bot how it will respond when user type in something from the this window only. Yeah, so it is saved. Now go to the test and just typing here, typing hello, and it will come up with whatever the response we have written in the code. So I'll show you that what we have in the code. So go to that app, bots. So if user type in hello, then it will return with the echo kind of thing, like, oh, hello to you as well, right? So this is a response from the bot when user typing as hello, but we are getting an error here. So I think it is not working for me, but let me try here. So I have created this just before this session. So if I type in hello here, and it will come up with like this, oh, hello to you as well, right? So this is the way that we can use bots, but how to use into Microsoft Teams now? So we have that option here. So I'm just opening this local. Yeah. So once you type in here, and we have the option to add to Microsoft Teams. So once you click on add to Teams, that this bot will be available in your Teams. So this is what I have in my Teams. Ankur, are you able to see my screen with the Microsoft Teams where I have just opened the bots?
Yeah, Kirti, I'm able.
Okay, yeah. So this is how your bot will be available in Microsoft Teams. And when you type in something like hello, so it will respond like this. You can see this box, the card, oh, hello to as well. It comes with the echo. If I typing something which is not available in my code, let's say for example, uh, incorrect spelling, so it will come up with kind of I'm terribly sorry. So that is also available in my code. So if it is not matching with the whatever the keyword has been entered by the user, it will come up with the uh, else part error message, whatever I have defined in my code. So this is the basic steps that we can use when we are trying to create a bots. So from here you can take it further, like you can extend the functionality of the bots, and you can also implement a kind of complex bots development. For example, if you want to have kind of searching functionality from Office 365 site or document library, you can do that. Or you can create a bot application which can communicate with the user as a uh, like HR team person, and allows you to open the application, leave application form, find your available leaves, a kind of solution. So this is how we can use Microsoft Teams, your Teams, for generating the bots. So this is all about the bots development for Microsoft Teams, but I think we have some time. So I just want to explain one more solution that I have created for a demo. Like as I mentioned that, uh, yeah, here. So it also allows us to support for single sign-on tabs. So sometimes the requirement comes in that uh, we our bot or tab could greet with the username whosoever is logged in with the name. So I'm just going to explain you that how to use the single sign-on for Microsoft Teams tab. So I've already created one of the solutions. So for that you just have to follow the steps. Like, again, there are 2 points. One is the uh, Azure portal side, and the second one is the create the solution using your teams and just select the tabs. So for that I have already created one solution called, yeah, so this is my solution. I'm just opening into the Visual Studio Code, and these are the same step what we have used for creating this bots, but the only difference is we just need to select these tabs instead of bot. So I have selected here a tab instead of bot, and this ngrok URL I just created earlier using this ngrok exe. So I have used this exe file just to open this URL for me as a host name, and I am using that in my solution. So I have already defined that, okay, this is the place, or this is the URL where I want to host this solution. So I'm opening all the this tab using this ngrok URL. Now, the second thing is, once you go to that Azure Active Directory, then from here you have to create app registration, and I have already created one just before this session. So from here you just need to get this application ID again. So this application ID I have used somewhere in my code, and then it will allow me to like set up this URI. So you can see application URI. So I have used APIs colon. This is my URL, ngrok URL, and this is the application ID I just copied from here. So it will create a kind of URI for me like this. And once this is done, then I just need to go to the expose this API, expose an API, and I have to create a new client application, and I have created two IDs over there. So that will help me to like provide this permission for the logged in user to connect with the Graph API and pull out the information which is required to create the user. Right. So here I'm just typing this. I'm just trying to build it and see how it works. Though I already have that in my Teams. So let me see if I can explain you that too. So in my Teams, yeah, I have this, but I cannot see, cannot get. So Teams SSO is like this. Mm, Let me open that build. So for this, I have to use different command just to build the solution and get this done. So the first command is gulp manifest. So it will create a zip folder for me in the package folder, and then I have to use the gulp build. So it will build my solution, and then I'll use the gulp serve. So it will open the local workbench and allow me to test my solution. So linting is complete, and yeah, so we are good now, and use gulp serve. So now it will open my solution. I can open this into browser. Let's go and open the local workbench. So tab. Yes, so I'm getting an error here as well. Yeah, so these are the basic steps. So once you have that uh, solution available in as a test to test in the workbench, and it will also create a one folder in your package from where you can just get this zip file, and this zip file, and upload your zip file into the apps. Go to the Teams apps, then upload a custom app. So I have already uploaded this tabs SSO. So once it is available in your apps, Microsoft Teams apps, you can go to any Teams channel and just add it, tabs SSO, and then you can add that. So it is not working as of now because of that error, but once you're done with this tab, just click on the save, and you will have your tabs here, and you can see that it will greet you with the logged in user's name. So hello Kirti Prajapati, or whatever the username is there, so it will greet with the username. So this is how that single sign-on works. So in that case, there is no need to write any code. We just need to expose that API from Azure portal. This expose, yeah, expose an API, and we just have to use these two client IDs in our application. So this is how we can use UTeams to create different kind of solutions, and that will allow like developers to have commands on anything. Like you can create anything. So Microsoft Teams tab, you can use single sign-on tabs, you can create the bots, then messaging extensions, then Outlook connectors, and the outgoing webhooks. Yeah, so this is all about this session. So let's have a question now, if you have any. You can, if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself, and we can take it from there.
Hi, Kirti. This is
Yeah,
God.
can you hold for a minute?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Sasan, go ahead.
Yeah. So Kriti, this is Godwin.
Yeah,
The
go ahead.
question was regarding the SSO that
Mhm.
you mentioned.
Mhm.
Does it make use of OAuth implicit flow, or do we need any special permissions to be enabled for that AD app?
Yeah, so you have to expose this permission, app permission here,
Okay.
right? So you have to add a permission and select the Microsoft Graph and use the delegate permissions. And then from here you can use select this for email, office, offline access, open ID, profile. So for this sample, I have just selected all of this.
Okay.
Yeah, so you have to select the permission. Otherwise, you will not have access from the Microsoft Graph, and that will help us to get this logged in username information. So,
Okay. And
I forgot to mention one thing. When you are trying to add that SSO tabs in Microsoft Teams, it will ask you a username and login information only first time. So once it is there, it will not ask you second time when you are trying to log in into Teams and open that tab.
yeah. And Kriti, maybe this is unrelated. Just so please tell me if it is not related. This Teams chat that you showed, right? So when the bot and the user are interacting, the
Mhm.
user can actually like one of the messages from the bot, right? So because Teams has this functionality like, or they can do some
Mhm.
actions on a message.
Mhm.
Does is there a way to hook onto this kind of activities within the bot framework? Is
Uh,
there any hook?
uh, uh, you mean to say uh, just want to jump on some chat portion?
Yeah, so if you select some chat message from any user, you can
Mhm.
actually do some actions on that particular message,
Right.
like or do certain
Mhm.
things.
Mhm.
Do these actions actually go to the bot as well? Does the bot get notified for these kind of events from Teams?
Mm, I think for that whatever the card we are creating, let me show you this chat. Yeah. So for example, understand this is a card
Yeah,
which is coming from this uh, solution,
yeah.
right? So we have these options available here. So we can definitely go with that. But to kind of jump into the specific message, I think that is that should be out of the box feature of Teams. So there is no need to write anything. Let's say, for example, for this conversation, I'm getting some reply associated with this only, right? So we could
Yeah.
have that option, one more message kind of a notification there,
Okay.
right? But I need to check